So you're Japan, right? No, not the war crime one, and no, not the modern day based one. I'm talking about the middle child that no one really likes. You know how it is. Shame on you, big one. Oh, it's okay, youngest one, you're good. But the middle child, you sometimes forget to feed. A lot of people aren't actually interested in post-war Japan because, well, everyone really just likes to talk about the World War II aspect to it. And yes, I like the World War II aspect of it as well, where I'm trying to learn all of the information on the army and basically what the army did during World War II, even though nobody cares about the army because Navy is all about stealing money, taxes, and basically their fame. I believe the JSDF is a very important subject to talk about how it was formed, at least because, well, it has a lot to do with modern day JSDF. And the JSDF actually gets a pretty good rap because, well, they actually do a lot of good. Now, they haven't seen a lot of combat because, well, they don't go out on assignments for combat. They're more of assignments of rebuilding, and I'll get more onto that later. But here's the thing when it comes to Japan and their quote-unquote military. It's September 7th of 2022, and I am just saying this for the future of the video in case we ever learn any more about the Russo-Ukraine war. But as we all know for now, from the information that we have, Putin decided to invade Ukraine, saying it's a special military operation. And here's the thing about basically, I don't know, people invading. It's 2022, and not a lot of people do invading. Or me personally, the last time I can remember some big nation annexating something is with actually, funny enough, Russia annexing Crimea. That's just one potential person invading Japan and trying to annex them. Because if you look at Russia and how close Japan are, the northest point of Hokkaido and the offshore whatever part of Russia, I think about 40 to 45 miles. Not to mention because of history, you have some other people who really hate you, like North Korea, and well, I mean South Korea really hates Japan, but they're democratic, so them invading a country that's also very democratic would not make the let's just say country who supports them very much very happy. But North Korea really hates Japan, and well, the CCP really hates Japan. To the point of whenever they talk about war and whatnot in a TV show, or hell, in general, they can just make the bad guy an ex-warrior of the Imperial Japan and whatnot. It's a very weird cultural thing. You know how we can make Nazis any bad guy in movies and TV shows? They use the Imperial Japanese as their bad guys in any movies or TV shows. So now that we know from past whoopsie daisies and oh man, this is actually happening in the modern day, we can see that having some type of army is good so then people don't invade you. Because if you look weak, people will justify invading you. So after fighting so bravely and well monstrously in a war, you decide, hey, maybe war is not a good idea. And well, the USA is yeah, maybe you shouldn't ever go to war again. And you know what? We're going to make a new constitution for you. Just because we don't want you to ever go to war again. Because y'all motherfuckers crazy. I mean, for real. Basically, the Constitution of Japan says you can never go to war again, or we won't ever use war as something that we will use to force upon others, and well, that all your military is destroyed. But then a brand new problem comes up. There's quite a lot of leftist strikes, and there's a lot of demonstrations that are not so very good for the well-being of the citizens. This brought many concerns to the conservatives, and to many people who were occupying Japan. At the time was the Americans, but a lot of Americans were very worried about everything that is going on. So, with the encouragement of the Americans, the Japanese decided to make a national police force, consisting of about 75,000 men with light infantry weaponry. Not to mention all your occupiers leaving because there's a Korean War going on. So, of course, making a national police force is a very good idea. Now, having only light infantry weapon isn't the best, but don't worry, the JSDF will get more later on. So a little bit after that, the security treaty between the United States and Japan was signed on September 8th, 1951. I accidentally said 1911. Whoopsies, but it's 1951 of September 8th. Just wanted to add that in there. It's actually pretty funny. The treaty allowed the United States forces that are in Japan to deal with any external, let's just say, hatred against the Japanese if anybody wanted to act upon that hatred and do something with it. That's not very, let's just say, good. Also, sometime in 1952, maybe around like the mid part, it's not really clear on when it exactly happened, but the National Police Reserve was expanded to 110,000 men and named the National Safety Forces. Along with it, the Coastal Safety Force was moved to the National Safety Agency to start a new navy. This was done because when Article 9 of the 1947 Constitution that was made by Prime Minister, this is going to be hard for me, Kijiro Shidehara, it states, Japan forever renounces war as an instrument of settling international disputes and declares that Japan will never again maintain land, sea, or air forces or another war potential. But Aiki, the JBBB, whatever it is called, actually has an army. Oh my gosh, it actually has a navy. Well, yeah, but like later on people found out that, or people interpreted it in a way of saying, hey, we can't use war as a means of solving international disputes, but it doesn't mean we can't protect ourselves. I mean, you gotta look at it this point of view. We are all human, and all humans make mistakes. And some mistakes are just very big that you can't really gloss over in history. But because of your mistakes, you don't want others to make very big mistakes. And the mistakes are being of war. So of course you decide, hey, man, I'm just saying, I know this is a big mind blow, but I'm just saying, maybe we can protect ourselves. I'm looking at you guys. The Second Amendment, come on, don't infringe. Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened to me there a second ago. But anyways, moving on. So now, you have a navy, and you have an army. But there was another big problem. You learn, especially Japan did, in World War II, when it comes to the navy, a lot of it's going to do the Air Force capabilities. You know, carriers carrying planes, because, man, planes are pretty important when it comes to destroying ships. So what do you do when a nation overtakes you, changes your whole entire, well, let's just say mindset, and, well, there's nothing else for you to do? You ask them, hey, can we have some Air Force capability? Because we have absolutely no capabilities at all. Like, literally, if someone decided to get a carrier and have it chock full of planes, and boom, a lot of damage would be done. So basically you ask Daddy to give you stuff, and the U.S. Air Force announced on January 6 of 1955 that 85 aircraft would be turned over to the fledgling Japanese Air Force on about January 15th is when they would get their equipment. So a new treaty was signed in 1960. It's basically trying to correct the unequal status of Japan and the U.S., So now, since the U.S. is friends with Japan and, not ruling over them, the U.S. is required to pre-inform Japan of any mobilization by the U.S. Army. And the U.S. is also prohibited from exerting any power on domestic issues within Japan. So, if Japan says, hey, man, I don't know, these pointy blades aren't good, you can be like, they're just pointy blades. But Japan could be like, oh, no. We don't like pointy blades, except very certain citizens can have pointy blades. And things that shoot. So there's a lot more I could talk about the JSDF when it comes to what's happening over time, but let's skip a little bit from 1960 into the 21st century. So 9/11 happened, and yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. Now, I don't want any conspiracy theories in the comments. Trust me, YouTube doesn't like them, and there's a time and a place for them, but I mean, like, come on, man. Come on. I'm just saying, man, just not in my comments, okay? Go somewhere else. But terrorism's really bad, and there's a lot of places that don't like democratic viewpoints, or at least especially America. People really don't like America at all. Hell, a lot of citizens don't like America right now, but that's a whole nother story to talk about. The JSDF, or probably just like the security agency, or what is it called again? I don't remember. But the Anti-Terrorism Special Measure Law was passed on October 29th of 2011. It allows the JSDF to contribute by itself to international efforts to the prevention and eradication of terrorism. This had a very big change when it came to just basically the Constitution at all, because it states in the new law, while on duty, the JSDF can use weapons to protect itself and others who come under its control, which is pretty big because previously Japan's policy was non-involvement. But, after Big Daddy gets attacked by terrorists, you're kind of like, oh shit, we need to do something about it too. There is a lot more I could talk about when it comes to the JSDF and just basically its history. And I can talk a lot, trust me, a lot about World War II Japan. But this video is already long enough, and this is not something I would like to post on Toxicity a lot, but it's just a topic that I decided to post on here because I want to reach as much people as possible. I think it's important to realize that since certain situations could happen and are, at the time I'm recording this, are happening, sometimes you need an army or just some type of self-defense force to protect you from anything that could happen. This video sadly wasn't sponsored by anybody, but it could be sponsored by us and by you. Basically, any videos that you saw on the cards or any videos that you find in the suggestions, or hey, if you click on our channel and watch some of our videos, we have some playlists specifically of me, playlists specifically of Toxicity Logan. Just if you want to help us, just watch our videos. And of course, you can use our links in the description below. You don't even have to buy the certain product. If you just use the link and then shop on Amazon regardless, we'll get some type of commission out of it. It won't be a lot, but hell, you'll help us some way. Excuse me. Man, every time I try to end this video, something happens to me. Have a great day, everyone.